So I've been getting a lot of videos on my feed lately about the new Earth, probably because I have been making videos about the new Earth and stitching the videos creators who are talking about the new Earth. For those that do not know, this is the New Age rapture. This is the idea that there are going to be two Earths. On one is going to be all the high vibrational woo people, all the New Agers essentially, and on the other Earth is going to be all the bad people, all the low vibrational people, the negative people, the people who might have substance abuse problems. This is a profoundly bad idea, and I've talked about this mainly because it engages in lots of D words: dissociation, disconnection, delusion, dehumanization, and denial of our current ecological crisis. And it also encourages another D word, which is disengagement. So there are other problems with this way of thinking, with the new Earth, one of which has to do with the fact that it's often connected to conspiracy theories, and maybe I'll get into that in a future video. But in this video, what I wanted to do is present an alternative to the new Earth. Rather than just criticizing it, I want to bring forth another model to explain what is happening in the world right now that is a little bit more based in reality and avoids all of those D words. The Great Turning is a phrase that was coined by Joanna Macy, who was a former teacher of mine and is a very dear person, a great inspiration for me. And she is a Buddhist eco-philosopher and activist, and she's in her 90s now. And she talked about this transition from an industrial growth society to a life-sustaining society. Now, industrial growth can be, you can do a shorthand and just call that capitalism, because that's essentially what is driving the destruction of our ecosystem, mainly because it has a primary directive to continually grow. So infinite growth on a planet that does not have infinite resources is obviously problematic. In addition to the components of the climate crisis, which are, of course, things like climate change and mass extinction of species and deforestation and ocean acidification and all kinds of things. In addition to that, these massive changes in the Earth are causing changes and disruptions in societal structures, because obviously if we are interdependent, we are seeing the collapse of that which we depend on for our survival. We will also see the disintegration and collapse of certain structures that we rely on. So it's imperative that we make the shift. One of the great things about Joanna Macy's model is that she talks about 3 ways in which you can participate in the Great Turning depending on your strengths and your proclivities and what you feel drawn to. First of all is holding actions. This is what we call traditional activism, having to do with like protests and being out there in the streets and being the brave person who ties himself to the redwood tree, or handcuffs themselves to the doors of the bank, or whatever it might be, in an attempt to basically say stop to the destruction that's happening. Second, we have the structural changes, which are also systemic changes in the ways that we conduct business, so to speak, on Earth, the way we take care of one another and the way we survive. So this has to do with developing alternative sources of energy into sustainable sources of energy rather than oil. Shifting from, say, like monoculture to permaculture, from supermarkets to farmers markets, maybe developing an entire new economic system that is more sustainable. Finally, we arrive at shift in consciousness, and I saved it for last because that's where I feel most at home. That's where most of my work is devoted to the shift in consciousness. I've written about it in all 3 of my books, actually, and really the underlying point of it is, to sum it up in a nutshell, is that a shift into acknowledge deep understanding of our interdependence. So this is my way of asking you, inviting you to participate in the Great Turning in whatever way you feel called to do so, and to de-emphasize or ignore the kind of philosophies that encourage all those D words and encourage a spiritual bypassing, anything that is calling you to just vibrate at a higher frequency, to enter a different dimension, or go to a new Earth, because we only have one Earth, we only have one chance. This is it right now. It's an all hands on deck situation. The Earth is calling you, the Earth community is calling you for your talents, your love, your attention, your devotion, your energy. All of that is required to make this tremendous shift. I invite you to participate, and maybe with your help, we can make it through this difficult time. Many blessings.